The Point of View is sponsored by First National Bank. First National Bank, how can we help you? And Cowbell Coffee. Cowbell Coffee. Taste it, love it.
Welcome to The Point of View. This is your favorite current affairs show on television. Here on The Point of View, we get the right guests, ask them relevant questions on issues that matter to you. It's an interactive show, and we're happy to hear from you. We're going to be discussing a big issue, of course. The hashtag Fix the Country is still trending, and we're going to deal with some very interesting responses that have come in from various aspects of government. Don't forget, The Point of View tonight is brought to you by First National Bank. How can we help you? And Cowbell Coffee. Taste it, love it. We'll be right back. So welcome back to tonight's show. So tonight we're delving into this trend that has broken all the records. Fix the country, with its various iterations. Fix the country now. Fix our beloved country. So the government on Sunday at 1 p.m. held a press conference addressed by Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta, where he sought to point out some of the things government was doing. In fact, he mentioned the 8 main things under the Obantapan program that the government was doing to fix the economy. That's one aspect of fix the country. He also called on Ghanaians to help government fix the country together. So tonight we're going to focus on the economic aspects of the country that are broken, which need fixing. I have 2 very interesting people. I have the Deputy Minister Designate for Finance and MP for Jusu Jabin, John Kumah. He's in the studio. Good evening. Welcome, John.
Thank you.
Congrats on your appointment one more time.
Thank you, Ben.
You've not been vetted yet.
No, not yet.
You're already talking.
No.
It's good to have you. It's good to have you.
Ben,
we also have
you.
the Director of Business Operations at Dalex Finance, Mr. Joe Jackson. Joe, great to have you.
Good to be here.
You are my go-to person for Economics 101, Finance 101.
Well, that is both my bane and my...
And your blessing.
And my blessing, yes.
Amazing. So tonight, I want to start with your tweet, because since the whole thing started with a tweet, the Fix the Country, now Fix Ghana tweet, you put a tweet, not this one, the other one. Okay, let's start with this one. So you put this up some time ago, yes, about the country being broke and we spend, but that's not what I wanted to show. You tweeted, I think this was Sunday.
Sunday afternoon.
Sunday afternoon.
Yes.
And this was in response to government's
press conference.
Good. And I just wanted to show that. And you said that the government's response to the Fix the Country Now hashtag misses the point, essentially.
Completely. So
can you elaborate what you were talking about? I'll show it when I get it.
Okay. I said the responses of the government are extremely tone deaf.
Okay.
Now, tone deaf is really when you are showing what I'll call obtuse insensitivity or lack of perception, particularly about public sentiment.
Okay.
Now, fancy big words. Just means that you don't understand what the people are telling you about. So when you don't understand, then you can't respond properly.
Okay.
And when your response is about Obatampa, which requires the public sector to invest, which you put money, and I like the fact that you put the first issue up there, because the government is broke. Then those issues you are trumpeting are dodgy. When I mean dodgy, I don't mean they are not rooted in truth, but they are not rooted as a solution to the problem people are talking about. You are hearing, but it's not sinking in. You are listening, but you are not understanding that this hashtag is just a popular expression of how unhappy people are.
So let me read your comments. You said the responses from government are extremely, these are strong words, tone deaf, then you say the list of dodgy accomplishments do not address the growing income inequality or the joblessness. Yeah. So are you referring to the finance minister's response or the other responses?
In total, not just the finance minister, but a lot of their responses that have come. Remember, the first thing that happened is that they pushed out a lot of stuff, right?
You mean the other hashtags?
The other hashtags.
But government says they did not, okay, they are not the ones who put those out.
That's fine, but it's still a response. Then there was the finance minister's, what do you call it?
Presser.
1
o'clock yesterday.
Yes, that's what I call tone deaf.
So it was the finance minister's response you are referring to?
Yes, it was tone deaf.
Which aspect of that?
Oh, let's start with the one that bothered me the most. Trumpeting your achievements does not fix my pocket. And here, when I talk about my pocket, I'm talking about that public sentiment that is being expressed. The dissatisfaction is with the level of unemployment. The dissatisfaction is with public services, our roads, the doomsday, or sorry, I won't call it doomsday again. What's the proper term to call it? The issues to do with education, security, health services, and housing. And these people are unhappy. And then the perception of the increasing levels of corruption. You see, so telling somebody who says there's corruption, or I feel corruption, that I'm unemployed, telling him about 1D, 1F, telling him about planting for food and jobs, telling him about Obatampa, and however rooted in truth these things may be, you're tone deaf. You're not listening to the guy. You're not listening to him. Yes. And when you fail to diagnose a problem, let me tell you what happens. You cannot prescribe its solution. So, thinking that this popular expression is maybe rooted in partisan politics, rather than accepting that the people of Ghana, the ordinary person in the street, are extremely unhappy. Whether that unhappiness is rooted in your truth, whether it is rooted in the meddling of the media or partisanship, it doesn't really answer the question. There's a lot of unhappiness. And you cannot answer that unhappiness by telling me that, 1D, 1F, planting for food and jobs, or Batampa, we are going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do that. I'm unhappy.
Is that what the minister said yesterday?
Well, thank you very much. Let me greet your viewers. And it's been a long while since I met my senior. So express kind regards to him. Yesterday's press conference, I'm surprised that my senior refers to it as tone deaf, because if you look at the early paragraphs of the press conference, the finance minister described it as a healthy conversation, that what is going on, fix the country, the social media campaign, and he even praised the organizers as being patriotic and responding to the president's call to be citizens and not spectators. And he went on to say that he met the organizers personally. The finance minister met them. He listened to them. And they described their problems as a failure on the part of successive governments to improve on the lives of the citizenry. This is what they have said. And they are not talking specifically to one government or the other, but they think that maybe in this Fourth Republic from 1992, I don't know if it's from 1957, which we are about 64 years, they think that there are problems that successive governments have not managed well. And so he thinks this is a healthy conversation that they are bringing on board. And so let's together share ideas on how best we can fix it. He did not seek to give answers to all the problems that were being raised. And you know that this presser on Sundays is organized by the Ministry of Information for the various ministries. What he did is one out of many other government interactions that will come. I believe the other, since maybe his response did not cover other areas to do, like maybe housing or roads, there will be time for the Ministry of Information to bring the road minister or the housing minister. And the issues are broad. So you can't have one minister talking to all the issues at the same time.
But do you understand why finance was the first response? Because there's a mixed bag of issues under the Fix the Country. What was government's thinking in letting finance lead the responses?
Yes, because I think most of the issues boil down to the economy. And you see, we must not forget, we didn't used to sit on your program with masks on our noses. So globally, there are challenges, there are difficulties. No economy at the moment, as we speak, not even the almighty America, is doing well.
Okay.
There is genuine hardship, and it's even compounded with the COVID-19 pandemic. So government is not oblivious of the fact that there are difficulties in the system. So obviously, if you want to deal with the economic issues, then the finance minister will be the best person to come and tell us what are the steps being taken to address some of these challenges. But you see, we need to, when you box in all the issues that are being raised, it becomes difficult to deal with. We should be able to know in specific terms what are the problems. Because when you give your problem as failure on the part of successive governments to improve the lives of the citizenry, it's so broad and wide, dealing with it becomes a problem. And then in there, you have specific concerns that have been raised from one sector to another, from unemployment to job creation to roads, to which, of course, there is no country in the world which don't have issues to address. And the finance minister said that all they are trying to do is to ask the best of their government. So to say it's tone deaf, I think is an extreme reaction when the person has acknowledged that he welcomes their participation and he welcomes their suggestion for improved discussions on how we
So just hold on there. With this background he's given us, do you still think it was a tone deaf reaction?
Extremely tone deaf.
Still?
And even his reaction cements the tone deafness. Let me go back a bit. Let's take us back a little bit into history. The closest I can get to this was when 10 years ago, in the early part of 2010, there was the Arab Spring. And the popular uprising started similarly, innocuously, until somebody self-immolated. He just poured fuel on him and burnt himself. Now, with hindsight, a lot of things tell us what happened then. And I will recommend to the study of yourself and the government a lot of World Bank papers written years later about the Arab Spring. Number one, there was real growth leading up to the Arab Spring. So you can't, it's almost like we're not learning from history and a similar event. So telling me that things have happened and there's real growth doesn't solve the problem. When you look at people who have studied this and people who know this even much better than I do, key was desperate income and wealth inequality.
Desperate income and wealth inequality. You think that's the heart of this?
That's the heart of
desperate income and wealth inequality.
And the perception of that we're not going anywhere. Dashed hopes. So it's a combination of things.
Okay.
The fact that there was income inequality and the fact that there were dashed hopes. And into this explosive mix was the perception of corruption.
Wow.
Now,
income and wealth inequality, dashed hopes plus corruption.
Corruption.
That's a very toxic mix.
It's a toxic mix. And the mix is not solved by telling me about how you're going to improve this and prove that and bring the housing minister to tell us about how he's going to get Saglemni working, or how you're going to build 100.
But is that not why they were elected for? They were given a mandate to deliver development. So
Yes.
what else can he do?
But the issue, you see, there's a problem here. And it scares some of us because we see that if this thing is not dealt with properly, the explosion could be fierce. And we're saying, you've misdiagnosed it. You've misdiagnosed it. Why do I say this? Look, go back to the 2017 State of the Nation address. Listen, I stood up and applauded.
The first State of the Nation address.
First State of the Nation address. I could even go back to the manifesto of 2016. So all of us had huge hopes of job creation. There have been a constant drip of positive news about the economy, issues to do with 1D, 1F, free SHS, one village, one dam, planting for food and jobs. Why has this not resulted in the ordinary man feeling what has happened? It's the
COVID. That's what he said.
That's it.
I disagree
He
with
said,
COVID.
I told you that's why he said COVID.
I
Exactly.
disagree with COVID.
It's not COVID.
It's not COVID.
So are you saying pre-COVID things were bad?
The pre-COVID, we're heading for this. In 2019, I put up, I spoke to the Institute of Economic Planners, and I said, we're heading for trouble because the income inequality is growing. And
Do you have evidence of that?
yes, check the Oxfam report of 2016. Some of the statistics are dire.
You brought it here?
Yes,
You have it?
I'm sure you can show it on the screen.
Okay.
Now check the statistics, and these are dire. 6% of us consume 32% of this nation's resources. The bottom consume 2%.
Where the bottom is what?
The last 10%,
They consume only 2%.
only 2%. If you are born into a poor family, you are 3 times as likely to die. You see, that's the statistics you show. And I'm not, this is an Oxfam report. Look at the numbers. It says, listen, one of the richest men in Ghana consumes more in a month than one of the poorest women could consume in 1,000 years.
Are you serious?
Well,
When did they do this report?
2017.
2017.
Yes. So look at this. It says 2% of the wealthiest 10% of Ghana now share 32% of the total consumption, more than consumed by the bottom 60% combined.
Wow.
While the poorest 10% consume only 2%.
Wow.
Yes. Look at the next statistic, 6%. It says gender equality is such an issue that only 6% of the richest people in Ghana are women.
Wow.
Only 6% are represented in a population which is now about 54% of our country.
Go to the first one again.
Yes.
Oxfam estimates that just one of the richest men in Ghana earns more in a month
Consumes or earns more, yes.
than one of the poorest women could earn in 1,000 years. While 1,000 extra millionaires were created between
I
2006
forgot that.
and 2016, nearly 300,000 people could have been lifted out of poverty had inequality not increased during this period. Oh, so there are 1,000 millionaires in the country. Where are they hiding?
There's increase in the 1,000 millionaires in this country. But why are you asking where they're
So
hiding?
there's an extra 1,000 millionaires.
Yes.
And we
Why?
are still suffering.
Yes. Why are you asking where they're hiding?
John.
Have you been on the roads
An
of...
extra 1,000 millionaires.
Yes, please.
In Ghana.
Yes, please.
So this is on top of the ones that existed.
Please.
Oh,
So when I say you are tone deaf,
wow.
I'm not referring to that you've delivered something. That's not what we are talking
But
about.
to be fair, inequality is a different issue than the issue of lack of economic development. Inequality is almost like a secondary issue. So, for example, there are countries, even the US, there's a lot of wealth. So that's why they say per capita GDP is not the best measure, because an average is always skewed by the outliers, right? So you can have a country with a high per capita GDP, but because the Gini coefficient is high, you're still going to have a lot of poor people.
But hold on. Why I say it is tone deaf is that what they are expressing is dashed hopes, income inequality, leading to joblessness, and the perception of corruption. And remember, I'm talking about a perception of corruption.
Okay. On top of the inequality, dash hopes and poverty.
Thank you. So all of a sudden, when you look at our lack of infrastructure continuity, infrastructure build continuity, which is all the projects that have been left uncompleted, and you tag that on the fact that now we are not even spending that much on infrastructure, then you have the economic causes of the hashtag fix the country.
Good. So, John, now that he has given you the three things, income and wealth inequality, dashed hopes, plus corruption. So he seems to have given you the basis of dissatisfaction.
Yes.
Was your response then, in retrospect, was it proportionate? Was it on target?
Well, let me deal with the basis of some of the assumptions that he has put out. And I agree that there's extreme inequality in Ghana, and it's not just a Ghanaian problem. This is a global issue. Do you know that the top 2% of the wealthiest people in the world control about 95% of the world resources?
He's quoting Oxfam. Which one are you quoting?
Well, but this is a global data. So it is out of that
the
Oxfam,
top 2%.
Yes. So when you put the wealth of Elon Musk, Amazon, Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos,
Bill
and
Gates.
all of them together, look, one person is even wealthier than the whole country Ghana.
Yes.
Am I lying?
That's true. So inequality is a global problem.
Inequality is a global problem.
But it's not manifested the same in every country.
Yes.
So like
Scandinavia
is not the same as say Mexico or Brazil.
Yes, but it took steps and systems to address some of these inequality challenges. You see, in Ghana, sometimes we forget where we are coming from.
Okay.
This Fourth Republic is only 31 years that we are trying to address some of the structural inefficiencies and income inequalities of the country. And so we have to be very patient and recognize that, look, in 2017, I'm happy he said he applauded President Akufo-Addo's State of the Nation in 2017. It means that the vision was clear, build Ghana beyond aid. And we put the economy on one of the fastest growing economy in the world, not just in Africa, in the world. It continued in 2018, it continued in 2019. In fact, in 2019, the currency, the cedi, was the strongest currency in the world until COVID came in.
Eh?
Yes, 2020, until COVID came.
Can I take a little time
I'm coming.
out from this one?
Let him finish.
I'm coming. I'll get to it. I'm not saying that there are no structural inequality in the country. I accept it. But you cannot resolve these things in a very quick fix. It has to be over time. It has to be targeted. And it has to be systematic. This is what all other countries have done. And so in the last 8 years, in the last, let me say, 5 years, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has been focusing on how we can lift more people from poverty. Check the statistics on poverty. It has declined, it declined. If you check the 2019 figures, we had almost half poverty, extreme poverty in Ghana. We took off unemployment. We are talking about unemployment. Immediately he came, he took 100,000 young graduates into NAPCO. All these things were attempts. Of course, they were short-term measures, but we had outlined long-term measures to make sure.
Why didn't
we integrate.
Finance Minister tell us more about what has been done? I get the impression it was more about what we will do and are doing in terms of the upper. Because if you have 5 years of a government,
yes,
you should be given a scorecard and not necessarily what I'm going to do, unless you get my point. It was a lot of it is Obatapa will do this, Obatapa will do that, so I'll work with it. Some will say you have 5 years. 5 years is a long time. You should have said we have created X number of jobs.
Yes.
We've done this in addition to what we are doing.
Yes.
Why wasn't that tilt there?
Well, for instance, he spoke about government's intervention of putting 1.2 million Ghanaian children in school for free. That is a huge achievement. That is how you solve inequality he's talking about. The poverty is solved through education. So you need time for these things to manifest.
But if they go to school and they can't get work, university
Well,
graduates not
so
getting work.
That's the dashed hope part of it.
Well, I'll come to the dash hope. It's a matter, you see, globally, you can't have a zero unemployment rate. So we are not saying that we...
But are you aware that, for example, the 110,000 graduates coming out of tertiary institutions, a lot of them don't have work. And in fact,
Yes,
by
I'm
2030,
I'm
that figure
aware.
would have tripled.
Yes.
And globally, unemployment is seen as the biggest threat to stability in most African countries, including Ghana.
That is why it was important for the finance minister to tell us the way forward and what are the programs to make sure that we strengthen the private sector, we empower young people through entrepreneurship and opportunities for them to be able to create these job opportunities that we are talking about. Because government alone cannot, and like he put out, if you check the payroll, the government sector, compensations alone was about 52.4% of our domestic revenue. So the best way forward, he announced 200 million immediately to help promote our jobs and skills training, so that as they are coming out, we are also encouraging them to start up their own businesses with support and opening opportunities from the government. So,
But John, let me press you.
Okay.
I have asked all presidents I've had the chance to what the unemployment statistics are in Ghana. None of them has been able to give me an answer. I remember from Mahama's time, we asked at the Meet the Press. I think Kemini from GH1 asked Akufo-Addo. All the time, the answer is that we are working with the Labour Ministry. How can you manage what you cannot measure? That's number one. As in, reliable unemployment statistics are not in existence.
Well,
number two,
okay.
You were here the last time we spoke about jobs created, and you gave some figures that I asked you to prove.
Yeah.
And you said at the time you hadn't brought all the facts. This is before the election. Okay, so now that people are talking about economic inequality, you definitely should be able to tell us how many jobs you've actually created.
Yes, we have.
Really?
Yes.
So what's the number?
It's over 2 million in the last 4 years.
Are you serious?
Yes, this is presented to Parliament from the Ministry of Labour. At the vetting of the minister, did you watch him? He put out a figure.
Jobs.
Yes, jobs created. And planting for food and jobs from all sectors of the economy.
People working. You know, if I ask you to go and weed my house this morning,
yes.
and you weed it and I give you 20 Ghana cedis, it's a job I've given you.
Yes.
But that job lasted for just 2 hours. Is that part of the 2 million?
No, we are talking about jobs created in planting for food and jobs, NAPCO.
So you're talking about jobs that, you see, because a job.
Yes.
If I wash your car and give me 10 cedis, you give me a job.
It's also a
it's
job.
Part of the 2 million.
Car washing is a job. But I'm not talking about that.
Sometimes the person is employed and is working. Is that a 2 million?
I'm coming.
Okay.
If you are talking about jobs created, I'm saying that from the Ministry of Labour and Employment, a figure has been put out, over 2 million. And I'm saying the breakdown of that, about 1.5 million alone was created through the planting for food and jobs. And the calculation is there. I'm talking to official figures. The last I remember, we had this argument again and again.
We can challenge the assumptions of planting for food and jobs.
Yes.
Quite easily. And
Why?
I'm not sure whether... Okay, no, fair enough. So you're telling me that from the finance ministry's knowledge,
yes,
based on what the Minister of Labour put out,
yes,
this government in 4 years created 2 million jobs.
Yes, over 2 million
with
jobs.
1.5 million coming from planting for food and jobs.
From food and jobs. And you see...
How many agri-extension officers were employed?
A lot of them. And these are public figures. People may laugh because they don't see farming as a job.
When agri-minister, just a question, when agri-minister tried to explain this, I think a lot of parliamentarians took him on the calculation because the kind of assumptions he used to claim that was a job created, where you have farmers still without access to extension officers in an era where you've created 2 million jobs with 1.5 in the agri-extension.
Listen, I'm saying that is what has been provided officially.
But that doesn't mean that's the truth.
It's the truth. Well, what is the definition of truth? These are public figures, so let's deal with it. Okay. If you disagree, you can do your own work and come and disprove it.
Fair enough.
I'm also talking about NAPCO. About 100,000 youth were recruited into the NAPCO.
Still working?
These are known, still working.
Paid every month?
Paid every month, and most of them being recruited into permanent job opportunities in the government and private sector. under the NEIP program, and I'm sure you
Which you used to run.
Which I used to run, we created over 92,000
Did you bring any numbers to show?
Yes. Now you can go to our website.
So
I'll give you the link. So go
I'll
there.
take a break because
Yes.
I want to show. He showed what he has, so I want you to show it.
I want you to
So
show.
you are telling me that 2 million jobs were created?
Yes, in the private. Yes.
Okay.
In both public and private sector of the economy.
I'll come back to that.
Yes,
it's there already.
yes,
Okay.
there.
What's this?
So under the NEIP program, we trained 45,000 startups and entrepreneurs in the country, and then we funded almost 10,000 of them.
And this is separate from...
And then we created in that sector about 92,000 jobs.
This is different from NAPCO?
This is different from NAPCO. This is only NEIP.
In which sectors?
In all kinds of sectors, okay, from agribusiness to... And then we had partnership with angel investors to create Ghanaian brands of businesses and enterprise. I'm sure I brought you that video too, if you can show it 2 minutes for people to see the kind of Ghanaian businesses we are starting and growing for them to take over the continent of Africa and the world.
92,000. We'll take a break.
Yes.
This is the point of view.
So,
we are trying to understand the economic dimension of the Fix the Country concern. Joe Jackson, Dalex, and John Kumah, Deputy Finance Minister Designate, will be right back. Stay with us.
It's a good day to meet every challenge. It's a good day to want more out of life. It's a good day to wish for it, work for it, go get it. Familiar taste, a delicious indulgent with a flavor you just can't hide. Refreshing energy gives so much for so little. For a strong performance, you've come to the right place. Good Day Energy Drink. Why wait a minute to enjoy a good day when every second counts? Good Day Energy Drink keeps you going.
Excessive drinking can be detrimental to your health. Not recommended for persons under 18 years, lactating mothers, pregnant women, and people sensitive to caffeine.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Welcome back to The Point of View. Tonight we're talking the economic aspects of the Fix the Country hashtag. My guest, Joe Jackson of Dalex, John Kumah, Deputy Finance Minister Designate. Let me read a few comments. Joe, not Jackson, says, listening to your guest makes the Fix the Country crusade more crucial. 2 million jobs. Christian from Bichem. Bernard, the Deputy Minister does not seem to appreciate the problems, hence the responses are dashing hopes. Francis Intema, some of us are so peeved that we think the whole diplomacy of informing the police before demonstrating is even more frustrating to us. We just want to hit the streets. This person is not very happy. And then, Bernard, I agree with Mr. Joe Jackson. We are telling you we are not satisfied and even not feeling the impact of what you claim to have done. And yet you organize a presser to re-echo the same thing. You see what is happening with the trial of the alleged national security personnel who were arrested in the Tiwa forest. They'll be acquitted and discharged. The system is dead already. This is Francis from Tema. More comments. The import of social media demands Fix the Country hashtag Arab Spring is that they leave much to be desired after everything is said and done. Okay. We must all form forum dialogues to address our national core common problems. On a more serious note, John Kumah sounds 100% in terms of articulation, expression. Okay? Somebody's liking you. Mr. Kumah is here again, heaping everything on COVID-19. He shouldn't forget that we spend billions of cedis on COVID. They should no longer use it as an excuse. Hashtag Fix the Country. KK inside Santa Maria. I was on unemployment and job creation with you, but he wanted to make a quick comment. What about what he said do you want to make a reaction to?
You see, when again I go back to the issue of being tone deaf. There's a fancy proverb that I like, and I'm a fancy man, so I always use it.
Go ahead.
What's it? Ezija or yenyibe.
Huh?
When you are eating, and somebody else is watching you and not eating, Charlie.
Oh, edidija.
I spoke it in the
fancy.
Ezizi. Edidija.
Or your neighbor. We call it edidija.
Good. But the point is this. The more you trumpet the growth, the more I feel angry Because I don't feel it. The more you tell me you've created 2 million jobs, when I am jobless at home, it even heaps fire on my pain.
Why?
But that is not democratic.
No, I'm coming.
But that
I'm
is
coming.
so unfair.
I'm coming. Because we don't believe
No,
you. We believe that you are engaging in some rhetoric and some
But that is very
propaganda.
unfair.
No, it's not unfair.
No, it's very
I'm
unfair.
talking to you about how somebody feels. Why you feel. You can feel the way you feel. But somebody
But
is
in a democratic environment, you are allowed to feel the way you feel.
Of course.
But facts are facts.
So I'm telling you that
If government
when
puts
you
out the
see
work
growth,
government has done,
when you see growth,
you are angered. Then
and
what
you-
should government do?
No, and you believe that
Maybe they feel
What should
that.
government do?
Maybe he feels
corruption
that you are
has
insulting
stopped-
his intelligence.
the corruption has
Come on.
won. The corruption has prevented the growth from trickling down. 2, people are taking more than their fair share of the growth. 3, you've lifted me up with good, exciting things, but you've dashed my hopes. And on top, to fix the problem, you have increased taxes on basic things that I can't avoid, that take a smaller chunk of your salary than mine. Fuel, energy, road taxes, VAT, and the list is endless.
Better.
And this is not the first time we've had an increase in indirect taxes. In 2019, it was the communication services tax, and in fact, that's what generated the first issue about inequality. That these taxes were actually widening the problem and not compressing it.
They are retrogressive.
Thank you. And so when we say that it's tone deaf and that you are trumpeting the wrong things, it's because you don't understand the
So
problem.
what should they talk about?
They should talk about how they're going to collect taxes from the wealthy. How they're going to collect property taxes. How we are going to... You see, otherwise, all you're doing is that you're telling me that you slap me and you say I shouldn't cry. You slap me and I shouldn't demonstrate. When today, just this evening, even the beer bar operators have increased the prices of every bottle of beer. Today, it was. I just saw it when I was coming.
Is what you are describing not more a problem of capitalism than a problem of MPP government?
No, it's not. It's not. And you see, bear in mind, this has been happening steadily.
It's not just an MPP problem.
No, when we talked about the income inequalities, 2006 to 2016, were we talking about MPP all through?
No.
So it also, let's not diminish this hashtag by making it into a partisan issue. Let's not diminish this hashtag by claiming that it's social, it's the media meddling, or it's just social media at play. This is a real thing, addressing the issue of inequality. And so when you come and trumpet some things, right, you are actually making the problem worse, not better. You understand?
So they shouldn't talk about what they've done.
No, you can talk about what you've done. That's your
It's an
problem.
attempt to gag government.
But I'm saying, no, it's not an attempt
to gag us.
No.
I mean,
How is that?
but how can you say you are angry because government is telling you this is what is doing?
No, I'm saying that
Because
address
it's
the
unfair.
problem.
Because it's not reflecting the reality.
Yes.
And it's not reflecting
Which
the problem which I'm expressing, which is inequality.
I mean,
But
you
Joe,
see,
there's a
but
maxim.
it's so unfair.
There's a
yes.
maxim in journalism called "show, don't tell."
That
Sometimes
is-
we tell
you see-
TV journalists that it's
Exactly.
not everything you have to tell them; you have to show.
Exactly.
So you demonstrate impact, you don't tell it.
Exactly, which is what we have done. I told you that this government put Ghana's economy on the fastest growth until intervention of COVID. You said no.
Fastest
You
growth
should,
since when?
I mean, 2017, 2018,
No, but that's not-
2019.
And you put the fastest
No, that's not true,
inequality
because
an
into
average
in
of
place
7%.
too, simultaneously.
Please, an average of 7%.
The fastest growth in the past 10
Yes.
years happened under Mills
Yes.
when we had oil.
That was 1 year.
Yes.
Only 1 year. I'm talking about consistency.
So you have to qualify it and say the
but that's
fastest.
what
But
I'm
if you say the
saying.
fastest growth, there is
I'm
not
saying fastest growth in terms of period. Okay, until COVID set
in terms of what period, like three consecutive
Three
years.
consecutive years, an average of 7%. Check global
But
figures.
you and I did economics. There's
Yes.
something they call the quality of the growth.
I totally agree.
So
and
if
I'm
they say
saying
if
that.
the economy grew
Yes,
alone,
yes.
and it just came through
But
oil,
check the real sectors.
What's the-
No, not just oil. Check the real sectors.
What were the anchors of that growth?
Check, it's agriculture, it's industry, it's manufacturing.
In what year?
And all the years.
It was
We are
services.
doing, check. This year,
It was services.
This year, the whole growth was anchored on agriculture, 4.5% growth. That's how come we're able to get positive.
4.5% is not.
Yes, only on
it's
agriculture.
impressive.
I'm saying that in a COVID environment, please, you see, it is painful when those who are complaining say, don't tell us what you are doing. What should we do? Please, relax.
I have a
You
problem
even be patient for us to talk.
This thing is
I mean,
based
it's
on-
so unfair.
allow him to
You
talk.
are here accusing government of being tone deaf and doing this. And when we are telling you that we also appreciate the difficulty, but these are the steps we are taking, you say, I'm angered by it.
Because we are not.
So
telling
democracy only allows you to complain. It doesn't allow you to listen to
No.
solutions.
You
Then
are-
please
him.
listen.
No, you're saying that what you are saying is not addressing this problem.
Yes, but you see, that one, it's subjective. It's not about him alone. It's a national.
But the thing is still ongoing.
Yes,
the
it
tweets
is.
are still
Yeah,
there. The people are
no
still.
problem. We don't disagree with tweets. That's the essence
He's
of
just
democracy.
explaining what they are saying.
But Bernard, listen, we have been there before. In this country, we have been to a point where we shot people in the name of corruption. We have shouted, let the blood flow. Democracy has failed us. Eventually, what happened? We went and came back to democracy. Let's be very careful. Let's not create a certain impression that this country is failing. It is not. And let's not create an impression that those in charge know nothing and they are doing nothing. We are not. If you think you have a better alternative, I'm happy he talked about property tax. It is one of the reasons why since 2017, the Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and His Excellency the President have pursued digitalization. And as we speak, about 7 million houses are being digitalized with specific addresses so that we can move from lack of addresses to proper addressing system and begin to tax. So if the way forward is for us to identify property and tax them, we are in the process. So let's stop the shouting and name calling and share ideas on specifics and know what can be done in order to address and arrest these problems. But for you to threaten us, don't tell us. What are you talking about? Let's put a stop to that.
But you did the same thing.
No, fine. Maybe I did the same thing.
In 2016,
Maybe I did the same thing.
If I can read the manifesto premise that the president gave.
Yeah.
It's almost as if the script is
repeating
the same thing.
Okay, whatever it is, I acknowledge. I'm not saying that there are no concerns. When I came here, I've said my minister has said it's a healthy conversation. We believe in this conversation. But when we put out our attempts and you seek to ridicule it and call it names, and you will not offer an alternative, and I'm saying this specific issue of property tax is being dealt with. If you read this budget, it is one of the key things.
What about the issue of the size of government, the cost?
Yes.
For example, today on radio, somebody said hospitals don't have new care incubators.
Yeah.
Some don't have defibrillators.
Yeah.
Some are at lower $6,000.
Yeah.
The average V8, which not just ministers and deputy ministers, but even directors and people who are chief executives of state agencies drive, over $140,000. So a question of prioritization and profligacy,
Bernard.
where he's showing you the inequality figures.
Yes.
Clearly, that could have been addressed, but we didn't hear anything
I
about that type of thing
No, you see,
in the presentation.
I don't have difficulty when it comes to specifics and efficiency in the system. I read a research from the U.S. Gallup poll that says that for every $1 that is taxed in America, 51 cents of it is wasted. And they describe waste as projects that government invests in that brings less benefit to cost, projects that are uncompleted over a long period of time, projects that do not last for the period of, you construct roads within 1 year instead of 10 years, they are washed away. And I'm asking myself, if we are to bring the same Gallup poll to Ghana, for every 1 cedi that is taxed, how much of it is wasted? These are conversations we are happy.
But John, you know that's different.
Coming.
It's not what I'm talking about.
No,
I'm not talking about inefficiency.
It's
we are
not.
talking about profligacy.
It's prioritization.
No, it's different. Anger is not generated when you have an inefficient system that allocates resources wrongly. People are saying that you are chopping and people are suffering.
Bernard.
It's different from saying...
Bernard.
Yes, that's what he's saying. I wanted to deal with that.
Yes, let me get
so
there.
Size of government,
we have been
the
there
cost,
before.
Free fuel,
if
they don't pay rent,
want,
they have V8 and all these things.
Yes, these are governance
Ex
issues.
gratia.
Yes, these are governance issues.
Yes.
Okay, these are governance issues, which we are, like I told you, we are happy to address. If Ghanaians want their ministers to ride bicycles to work, let them say so. I'm coming.
I'm pushing you here because
okay.
The finance ministry is the most important ministry, which is like the center of the wheel. Finance allocates resources. So finance can say, don't pay board members. In fact, when Ken came, there were certain allowances he rationalized. So he's the person who can say, everybody should use a Kantanka or use a 2.0-liter engine. He uses a Kantanka himself.
He uses it.
The president also tried to say he won't increase salaries. So he's admitting that there's a problem, but he's not doing far enough to deal with it, which is the question we wanted. So if Ken uses Kantanka, why does he agree for other ministers to use V8s, for example?
Okay, granted. If President announced today that all ministers should drive Hyundai and all government appointees should drive Hyundai, will the inequalities, the poor people,
yes, where you allocate
would there be no more?
If, for example, you spend that savings to buy new defibrillators for hospitals or to pay for the NHIS premiums of certain poor people, that could help.
But it will not eradicate the problem fully, right? Now I'm coming. Let's come to certain understanding. If that's what Ghanaians want, let's do it. Me, I don't have any
You already have
challenge with
VW in Ghana.
Yes.
Imagine if the president says one VW Polo is about 65,000 cedis.
Kantanka can produce for all ministers.
If the president says all ministers should use
but what
VW
I'm saying
Polo,
is
what prevents them from doing that?
I don't have a difficulty. We can even ride bicycles to work. But the problems that we are talking about will not be solved.
Really?
Oh, yes. Who told you?
Yeah, but it's a start. It's symbolic.
Yes, it's a start. It's symbolic.
But
why won't you wait for me to finish?
John, let me take you on, John.
No, I'm coming.
John, I'm coming.
So I'm coming.
John, there's
Bernard,
again, we separate.
Do you know that at the beginning of the year, His Excellency announced that he's not going to increase for all government appointments.
Why did he do that?
Yes, because we acknowledge there are difficult times.
So why can't he go further?
We can go further. I'm saying it's a discussion we can have. We don't have a difficulty.
But why do you have to discuss it? We know very clearly that there are issues.
But you see, let's also be careful. Ghana is a unitary state. If you are appointed a minister in Accra, you're supposed to go to Tamale. You're supposed to go.
But you can go in a pool. All of you don't go at the same time.
We can go in a pool. It's true. What I'm saying is that.
But how do we go to Tamale as when we have to go?
Well,
we find a way. Why can't you go?
But you see, let us not reduce. We have seen it before. In this country, people have been shot for 5 cities.
No, but John, you see, I'm pushing you here because there are reports that say that countries like Ghana, which borrow, we borrow and yet we spend on like first class travel and things. Even British diplomats who give us loans, they don't. Some of them don't fly first class.
I am not disagreeing with you on that. Okay. I totally agree. What I'm saying is that when these savings have been done, we will still come back to people are suffering because these are structural issues and we need long-term planning and ideas to resolve them.
Okay.
And sometimes, in your attempt to even deprive certain opportunities for those who are serving, you may even be compounding the solution rather than allowing them to be able to drive well, to go to work and do the same work. You get the point I'm making. We have to do proper statistics and data analysis
John,
to know whether
if there's one of the things they are saying is that government must make use of public services.
I don't have
in the UK
with that.
That people use
but you are
public
talking
transport.
About UK.
Yes,
you can just go underground, join the.
They are a wealthier country.
There.
Yes. Yeah. So, but if somebody who is a nurse is going to save a life, sit in trotro from Kasua to La General Hospital.
Bernard,
why does a member of parliament think they are better than that nurse?
We haven't said we are better.
So why should she go in a Trotsky and you go in a V8?
But let me tell you, the member of parliament's V8 is bought with his own money.
The ex-gratia he gets. But how did he qualify for the loan?
Please relax. You see,
can I get the same loan he got? Who guarantees that loan?
You see, I don't get the point we are making. Are you saying that you are the same as the member of parliament?
No,
there's a reason why he's the member of parliament.
We are saying that
the loans, the car that he drives, he's buying it with his own money.
When he leaves power after 4 years, how much does he take home? Is that the same the nurse takes after working for 10 years?
But you, at the end of every week, how many funerals do you attend?
Oh, me, I don't have many.
You don't even attend any. Yes, the member of parliament has to attend.
Is that part of the job description?
It is.
Going for funeral is not job description.
Let's not do this.
What are you talking about?
I'm coming. Well,
to a level which I don't think makes sense.
Well, then let's not go there because the fact is that now let me finish with him. You come in. You see, when you are talking, it's not degenerating. When we are bringing our side, it's degenerating. It's not fair to do those things.
No, John.
Let's also be fair to other sides of the argument.
I'm taking you on principle.
Yes, I agree.
You are saying that. I'm saying that people say public officials must use public schools, public hospitals, public transport.
I
That
agree.
doesn't mean they don't value government. They are saying he who feels it knows it. That's what they are saying.
So what's the argument? Me, I use public schools. I went to public schools. What's wrong with that? I'm here today. I went through public schools.
You take public transport.
Well, not now. I stopped taking public transport for a very long time.
Before you became a politician?
Yes, but it's not government who bought my car for me. If you work well, you'll be rewarded. That's the system we all want to create in our country. Let's stop. We have been there before. Let's stop this. Why is he in this? Why is he in that?
Because they are saying
and create equal opportunities for
because
people. We have been here before.
No, they are saying that
shoot
because
the people. Let the blood flow. Why are people taking loans of 5? We have been there before.
Don't misinterpret
This is
my
the
point.
same sentiments we are pushing.
They are saying
Let's
that,
be careful.
They are saying that
we have been here before.
Because you are not invested in the system.
I don't have any problem
You
with
are not
investment.
solving it.
We are solving it. You can say it's not enough, but don't say we are not solving it. It is unfair. That's what I'm telling him. That posture, tone deaf and whatnot. When you cannot say, you can't say that for everything the honorable minister said. There's not even one hope in it. How? How can you describe it like that?
Who said that?
My good.
Oh, you are still talking about that.
Well, but that's the basis of all the things going around.
Okay, we'll take a
He
break.
even said that he's angered
Yes.
because government is telling him.
But
about
I'm
it.
happy.
What people? Which people?
I'm happy you are riled.
Which people? Let's
John,
face it.
I'm happy you are angry
Yeah.
because people are also angry. So
I'm
it's
not,
good.
yes,
We'll take
but
a
you
break.
see,
We'll be right back.
we
Stay with
cannot
us.
solve issues with anger.
I woke up this
Good Day Energy Drink keeps you going. Available in major supermarkets and shops near you. Excessive drinking can be detrimental to your health. Not recommended for persons under 18 years, lactating mothers, pregnant women, and people sensitive to caffeine. This advert is FDA approved.
I woke up this morning.
Nothing wakes me up better than a cup of cowbell coffee. Delicious coffee aroma.
How can you forget your lines again?
I'm sorry, sir, just that it tastes really good.
Cowbell coffee.
Enjoy the delicious creamy coffee taste of 3-in-1 cowbell
Taste
coffee.
it, love it. It's a beautiful day.
Waiting.
Cowbell coffee. Taste it, love it.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Welcome back. This is still the point of view. We have 5 minutes to go. I'm going to give Joe Jackson. He was calling for point of order at some point. So
Before you go to
I'm going to give you what do you want to say now?
Let me come in
You
before
know,
you go to
what I wanted to say was this. Clearly, it's the inequality, it's the dashed hopes. Those are the things that are causing the anger. Now, it's easy for us to say, oh, but if I stop driving a V8, right, it won't solve the poverty, but it will make people feel less angry. And it is the anger we are addressing. And the V8s are not even just for ministers. Look at the report that was put out by the Ministry of Finance itself about the SOEs and the value they are destroying. All these appointees, they drive V8s, and a government enterprise, a government-owned enterprise with very few exceptions. They're just chopping the money and making things worse because those appointees are typically political appointees. Some of them don't even deem it necessary to tell us whether they've even made a profit or loss. Out of the 78 SOEs, right, 48 haven't even responded. This is Ministry of Finance. The point is that there is waste that can be addressed. And to say that you can't solve the problem today does not address the anger that the Fix the Country hashtag is telling you. The way you fix it is that because it's a perception thing, you fix it by perception. You cut down the size of government. You reduce the SOE. Sometimes it's as simple as I'm walking by the roadside and there's somebody with a horn buzzing, ping-pong, and clearing the road. When I'm broke, unemployed...
It just adds to the anger, like the sirens and things.
And it is wrong to think that this is partisan, or this is trying to gag you, or this is taking us back to parts of our history where the explosion resulted in excesses that sadden all of us. It is to make sure that we don't get to that point again. That's why some of us are saying, listen. And the issue is not trumpeting your achievements. The issue is addressing that my wife feels that I am unfaithful. I don't address it by reminding her of all the others. I address it by stating, okay, you know what? If I go out with you and you see me flirting with other people, I'll stop flirting. I'll stay by your side. I will share in the pain of the family. I will share in everybody's pain so that temperatures calm down. I'm saying, don't be tone deaf.
Okay, John, you have the final word. 2 minutes.
Yes. I strongly disagree about this phrase of tone deaf. I think that we see this conversation as very healthy. We welcome it. Sometimes emotions may go up because that's the essence of sharing ideas and disagreeing. We disagree to agree sometimes. We welcome all suggestions, including even requesting ministers and government officials to walk to work, if that is what to please people. But at the end of the day, let's also be tolerant to other views. Let's listen to the attempts that government is also making to address the concerns that they are raising. And let nobody be under the impression that government is tone deaf and is not listening and we are insensitive to the sentiments and plight of people. It's not so. We are eager to address the problem. We want to address it with them. We want to fix it. My minister said, let's fix it together. But it will be better if we fix it with ideas. Let's share the ideas.
Like the property tax one.
Like the property tax one, which we welcome because there are steps in order to reach there, which we are already taking. But we'll be more than happy to accept more such innovative ideas to be able to build on a country that is acceptable to all of us.
John Kumah is the Deputy Minister Designate. Good luck in your vetting. Do you know when you'll be vetted?
Well, to be after 2nd June.
Okay. Then, of course, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. But he's already, I think he's already working. I think so. We don't even know. And then Joe Jackson from Dalex. Thank you for watching. We got your messages. We appreciate your viewership. Thank you so much. If you like, if you're watching on social media, like the video and share. My name is Bernard Avile. The Business Dashboard is up next. Stay with us.
The Point of View is sponsored by First National Bank. First National Bank, how can we help you? And Cowbell Coffee. Cowbell Coffee. Taste it, love it.